thanks for joining me today. Great to have you here. And well, first of all, let's start with please introduce yourself and introduce what it is that your business does.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me. My name is Jose Pereira. I'm from Ecuador. I've been here in Dubai for the last 3 years. And throughout my time before FAsset that I'll talk about in a second, I was building different tokenization platforms. And the bottleneck, the barrier that I always used to reach is, okay, we do the tokenization, we build the marketplace, but then what happens when it comes to the moment of selling? You need licenses and you need users. And I hit this block with many companies that were tokenizing in insurance, they were tokenizing in shipping, they were tokenizing in gold mines as well. And then that's when I came across FAsset. So what they had done was that they built the other part first. They built the consumer relationship, the customers, and the licenses to distribute. And when I saw that this is what was missing in everything real world asset tokenization, I went all in with FAsset so that we can build our own chain and do tokenization in-house. So the rationale for that is because in traditional financial technology, you would have two endpoints. One, which is the customer relationship, and the other one, which is the licenses, the rails, the fiat on off ramps, the KYCs. And what happens then is that you can collapse the middle and with your own chain. So one specific thing about us, what we are is a bank that runs completely on chain, powered by stablecoins. We have global stocks as well. We have investment products, global stocks, bonds, funds, metals. But each of these assets is a real world asset that's tokenized. We have a partner in the US, they're called Dinari. So what they do is that when a user buys on our platform, they buy it from the New York Stock Exchange, they hold it in custody, SEC regulated, they mint a token, they sell it to us, we sell it to our users with our licenses. But the user doesn't see any of that. The user, what they see is, I buy S&P 500, I buy NVIDIA, I buy Apple stock. But it's a platform that runs completely on chain. Now, where we got is that we have products because of integrations that settle in different blockchains. So the stocks settle on Arbitrum. We have a gold product that's on XCC. And then we have also institutions that are coming to us because they want the distribution. So that's why it made sense to launch our own chain. And that's something that's going to come very soon. But we've been building this for the last 5 years. The app has been active for the last 12 months. It's been growing very fast. Most of our user base is in Asia, headquartered here in Dubai. So yeah, a banking app with investment products as well. We also have crypto.
I know quite a bit about FAsset and about Own, and you do have a really nice user base. So that's very good to see. And well, just in any blockchain business that doesn't specifically have to do with specific, NFTs or token trading, things like that. Something that has got so far the biggest use cases within the blockchain field. It's very good to see an RWA centric business really have the the steam that you guys have. So, well, let's dissect that a little bit. First of all, why blockchain? Let's start with that. Why do you think blockchain is a good tool for what you do?
So you have traditional banks that are established in the US, in Europe, and they have a cost of service for each of the clients, and they have a margin that they make. So that margin makes sense in the US because the value of each consumer is higher. But when you go to the rest of the world, it doesn't. And that's why a lot of the banks, most of the banks, don't expand to other regions, and you have so much unbanked population. That's because they're trying to use your traditional tech stack, local solution for a global problem. What we're doing is that we're using crypto so that we can solve that. So when you have a transaction that settles on Arbitrum, it's on us to put the margin on top. And we could then tailor that to each of the countries. So we have countries that have a higher basket size, for example, the UAE. And then we have countries that have a different basket size, like Indonesia and Pakistan. So that enables us to push different products, to push different fee structures, depending on how competitive it is, this product in each of the markets. And blockchain is what gives us the flexibility to do that. The other thing is that you don't have interactive brokers in Pakistan, for example, or you don't have Robinhood. And with blockchain and blockchain licenses, distribution licenses is how we bring those products to these users. A third benefit of that is also the fractionalization, which you have it in major stockbrokers, but not in the rest of the world, which enables you to buy Apple stock for $10. If you didn't have that, then you would have to pay for a full stock, because you would be acquiring it, which would be around $200 for a minimum entry price. That wouldn't work in these markets. So I think that blockchain, what it does is that it makes these local products global, and it removes a lot of the barriers that are very country specific.
Yeah, I very much agree with that. I think personally, I think that blockchain's two main huge value adds are portability and adaptability, and that's I believe that's what you're talking about, right? You're talking about the reason why I use blockchain is because it makes things portable, it makes things adaptable, and you can kind of dial in different jurisdictions, different regulatory environments, be compliant, and being able to do good business in those jurisdictions, where in the legacy way you would have to have a lot more red tape. You have to have a lot more. It would take a lot more oomph to course correct. Is that what I'm hearing? Yeah, absolutely. That's I think that's very important. So let's stay on the subject of blockchain for a bit, and more specifically, since we're here representing Cardano with Discover Cardano, what is your impression of Cardano? What do you think about Cardano as an ecosystem and the ease of doing business on Cardano, or what you think might be something that Cardano could improve to have a business like yours utilize it?
I think Cardano was able to create a super loyal community, a massive community. And I think they had a lot of enterprise deals across Africa specifically.
Yeah.
And I think their use cases were actually impactful, because when you look at different chains, some chains only have different types of variations of DEXs, and everything is trading and everything is speculation. I think that what Cardano was doing was partnering with enterprises so they could bring blockchain-based solutions to these countries. I'm also aware that there's been a new layer of liquidity aggregation and bridges, because I think that that's something that was missing before, that bridging in between Cardano and other chains was a bit complicated. But I know that that's something that's been solved now because of different partners that I've met that are building on that, and they're bringing liquidity from there. So I think that there could be new and exciting apps, and I think that these use cases are exciting again versus in 2021 that they were, and then everyone was just looking at, what's the next narrative, and now these real use cases are coming back up. So I think that could be exciting.
Yeah. So would you see Cardano as a viable ecosystem to build in right now, or what do you think might be some things that we should improve in Cardano to make things more viable for business to do what you need to do?
I think ultimately the chain, depending on the scale of the business, depending on the scale of the partnerships and how in the back it is, then it wouldn't be that decisive in the sense of, for example, if you're doing something that's very liquidity dependent, like a DEX, then you need to follow where the liquidity is. In that case, BNB right now, it's popping. It's the hottest one in terms of daily active traders. But if what you're doing is integrating this into an enterprise solution where this is in the background, then it's a complete different approach, where the most important thing would be the level of support that you can get from the foundation. In implementing these deals.
Yeah, it's a very good point. Right. So moving on to another subject that I'm very much interested in myself, again, as a businessman and as somebody also, who have a business and a platform that utilizes Cardano and just blockchain in general. What does viability look like to you? How do you make a successful business using Web3 that's not just successful as in, we're going to get a bunch of transactions on chain because we're an exchange and we're trading Web3 things, whatever they are, they're NFTs or tokens or whatever. If we're talking about a business that's using blockchain for RWAs, for example, like yours, how do you make it? How do you utilize the blockchain to make things viable for you in the grand scheme of things in the mainstream?
So it's going to come down to the unit economics, and you're going to have the enterprise side and you're going to have the retail side. For us specifically, we have 3 business lines. We have the retail app, which is banking and investing. We have the institutional desk, which is custody and OTC. And then we have the enterprise side, which is services that we give to businesses. For example, a bank that wants to offer crypto to their clients and they integrate us via white label. Same thing with a telecommunications applications app, so that their users can buy crypto, can buy stablecoin directly from the apps that they know. And then we also have in the enterprise side the tokenization arm. So those are the 3 revenue lines. And it's the same as your traditional businesses. You're going to have a margin. And what blockchain does is that it enables you to bring your cost of service a lot lower. It enables you to remove a lot of the intermediaries that have just been there for years and no one has questioned them. And then with blockchain, you can just remove them. At the same time, I think that there's a lot of solutions in Web3 because of the development that has happened so far that enables you to integrate products a lot easier. So you don't have to build everything yourself. You can integrate with what's the best card issuance partner, what's the best virtual IBANs, what's the best loyalty platform, and then you can build something very interesting. So I think the cost of building is also lower. And then it's up to the business if they want to, offer a more competitive product or if you want to just take higher margins. But yeah, blockchain just makes everything way more efficient.
Yeah. I completely agree with you. I think
it's specific to RWAs is that there's a new level of yields that you can bring that banks cannot to their users. So what at least we're trying to do is to make it as obvious of a decision is earn here 2%, earn 5% with us, earn 7% with us. And that could be backed by multiple things. It could be backed by tokenized treasuries. It could be backed by liquidity provision strategies or a combination of everything. So that product innovation that is thanks to blockchain can also make your fintech products a lot more competitive in the market.
Yeah. As I was saying, I really agree with specifically. I mean, you have make a lot of great points, but most of all, it's about you don't need that bulky infrastructure to really create value, and that kind of levels the playing field, or at least makes things a little bit more even, so that you can indulge yourself in doing business versus having to worry about, is this going to break, is that going to break, or is that going to break? I mean, that's what I think.
And I think that with integration, there could be innovation happening anywhere in the world, and then it's integrating a token into your exchange. So, for example, we have a partner that's doing pre-IPO tokenization. So they're taking care of the asset sourcing, acquiring the companies, and minting the token of SpaceX, OpenAI, Anthropic, which are equity that's always been almost impossible to get for retail. And then it becomes an easy business transaction, which means that we can give access to retail of these type of products. So that comes back to the context of which markets are you serving. Because if you're trying to launch a fintech in Dubai, in the US, in Europe, in Japan, in these developed markets, how do you compete with Robinhood on fees? You can't. The only way that you can compete, or with banks, is by bringing these product innovations that crypto exchanges cannot offer, banks cannot offer, and your traditional brokers cannot offer. And that's another angle of tokenization and what they can bring.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So just one last quick question I have for you is, what do you think mass adoption looks like? So what do you think mainstream adoption looks like for blockchain and for businesses utilizing blockchain?
I like to think of our approach as the one that's most realistic to mass adoption. I think that you're always going to have this speculative side of crypto, and you're going to have the one where blockchain is just in the back. And that's what we do. So when you go into our app, you buy Apple, you buy NVIDIA, no one knows that this is a tokenized stock that settles on Arbitrum. They're just buying NVIDIA for minimum $10. And then it's the grind of user acquisition in each of these countries where they didn't have access before. And a lot of our users are buying stocks for the first time. So I think that's mainstream adoption. I think it's bringing normal products to normal people and using blockchain to eliminate those barriers of access. I think that's where adoption is going to always be.
This is exactly, I say the same exact thing day in and day out. So I'm very glad to hear you say the same.
It sounds boring to bring
it's not,
but it is.
It's not, because it's just that's what it is. It's an abstraction, ease of use, and access. I mean, that's what we're talking about, right? That's what any technology that's mass adopted has to have for it to be mass adopted. That just makes sense.
Ultimately, I think the products that I have the most conviction on are ultimately the global cards, stablecoin backed, and the virtual IBANs. Because in all of these countries, get USD accounts tied to your blockchain wallet. It's the easiest, non-speculative, non-cyclical product that is going to stay in terms of mass adoption.
Yeah. Well, Jose, thank you so much.
Thanks
for your time. Thanks for answering the questions. A lot of great input here. Really excited to see what Facet and Owen are going to be up to next.
Thank you so much.
And so thanks for joining me today.
Thank you. Appreciate it.